Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the vlog. No artsy intro for us today. We're going to get straight into the action. Before we get into the action, quick shout out to our giveaway winner, Caden Miller, for being the first person to guess 10-9 of hearts in the previous episode. I was, of course, never bluffing there. Caden, find me on Twitter or Instagram. I'll ship you your $100. On to our first hand of the day, I'm in the cutoff with Ace-Queen offsuit. Ace-Queen always seems to be my first hand of the day in these vlogs. I'm going to make it $30 to go. The big blind defends, and we go heads up to Queen 10 deuce with 2 hearts. I make what the kids call a continuation bet, and he makes what the kids call a check raise. He makes it $110 to go. He's got about 400 behind. Fuck it, all in. What could go wrong? I'll tell you what could go wrong. He could snap call with pocket deuces. Absolutely no miracle. Runner for me, and just like that, I'm down $500 in the first orbit of the day. Unfortunately for me, it's going to take 90 minutes before I play another hand of note. Lots of small pots in between. Picking up King 10 of hearts here in the big blind. The middle blind makes it $35 to go, and I decide to pop it to $135. He makes a call. We go heads up to the flop. Not what we were looking for. It is 7-6 deuce rainbow. We do have the backdoor flush draw though, so I decide to c-bet. I bet $135, around half pot, and for the second time in 2 hands, I get check raised. This time it's to $350, but it doesn't matter. Even if it was a min raise, I've got squat douche. I would be folding. 0 for 2 so far today in the bigger pots, and next up we have a double straddle hand to $40. The cutoff raises to $125, and I look down in the small blind at King Queen offsuit. Definitely want to play this hand, but we're 1k effective, so I don't think 3-betting is the best option, especially with the double straddle on. I decide to just call, see if I can flop top pair, and then just go with it. The 40 comes along as well. 3 ways to the flop here. It is ace king jack with 2 spades. Not the best, but certainly not the worst either. The cutoff c-bets for $175. I've got a pair and a gut shot. Easy call for me. The straddle wants to see one more as well. He makes a call. To the turn, it's an ace. I wouldn't mind this turn heads up, but 3 ways, it's pretty likely someone's got an ace. And if I was a betting man, I'd say it was the cutoff, especially when he fires again for $350. I release, as does the straddle. Cannot win a pot bigger than a few big blinds so far today. I've tried with ace queen, I've tried with king 10 and king queen to no avail. Let's switch it up and play some trashy hands like this 4-3 suited. I have bought the button, and the cutoff makes it $60 to go. There's no straddle in this hand, so this is not a defendable hand for a 6x raise. But how am I going to beat Brado into 1 million YouTube subs if I don't get a little spicy for the boys sometimes? For those that don't know, if I hit 1 million subs on YouTube, my buddy has to give me $100,000. So for those non-sub viewers right now, how about if I flop a straight here, you have to sub? Deal? Deal. Oh my god, look at that, you guys. I flopped a straight. It's 7-6-5 rainbow. Dream spot for me, and when he c-bets for $75, I am always raising here. I make it $325 to go. This is a big check raise, but I do have a very strong hand, and I want to start building the pot. He makes the call. We be building. Keep it clean, dealer. It's a 4. Any 8 now beats me, so I slow down and check. Really happy to see him check back. I don't think he's the type of player that's going to check back an 8. To the river, it's a deuce. Pretty sure I'm good here, so I make a chunky river bet for $540. This is going to get paid off. My opponent makes the call. I table my hand. He mucks, and we drag in our first proper pot of the day. Fuck the Broadway cards. 4-3 suited is the one. 20 minutes later, I open ace-queen offsuit in the cutoff to $30. The same guy is now in the small blind. He makes it $110 to go. The big blind is going to cold call. I, of course, call as well. We go 3 ways to the flop here. It is 8-7-3 rainbow. Absolute swing and a miss from me here, but the c-bet from the small blind is only $125. So when the big blind folds, I think about it and decide that I'm in position, 2 overs, good price, could have the best hand. I make the call. To the turn, it's a straight completing 9. Small blind checks, and I could start bluffing here, but I've got lots of king jack suited with a backdoor flush draw that calls on the flop. This is just a little bit too strong, so I decide to check back. To the river, it is a 7. Not a great run out for my hand, and the small blind bets the river for $225. It's such a small bet, it really doesn't make sense for what he's repping. He's also the kind of player that will bet a 9 or an overpair on the turn, so I just have this feeling that he's completely full of it here. After much deliberation, I decide to put on my cape and make a $225 hero call on the river with just ace high.
Ace high.
No! Ace queen.
In my defense, he was full of it. He was just full of it with a little better than my full of it. Note to self, stop calling rivers with ace high in live poker. You'd think I'd have learned that by now. On to our next hand. No straddle this hand, and EP is raised to $55 pre-flop. Pretty big raise, but that's not going to stop the player in middle position calling or the player in the cutoff. What a time for me to look down in the small blind at ace king. I put in the squeeze to $310. The early position player is the only player to make the call. We're heads up to the flop. It is 10-4-3 rainbow. Another swing and another miss, but I do decide to c-bet here for around about 1/3 pots. That's not going to deter EP here. He makes the call. To the turn we go. It's the deuce of clubs. I now have a gut shot and 2 overs, but again, lots of better hands in my range to bluff here, so I decide to check. Really happy to see him check back here. Can we hit the river? Ace of diamonds, let's go. Really nice river, of course, and I'm going to bet it. I bet $340. Once again, this river bet is going to get paid off. My opponent calls, I table my hand, and he mucks. This is how you beat live poker, not with calling rivers with ace high, but by value betting them instead. 9 years as a pro now, you think I would have known that by now. Next up is our Battle with Charlie installment of the vlog, a regular at the Hustler Casino, and I play at least one pot versus him every episode. The $40 straddle is back on for this one, and Charlie makes it 110 under the gun. I'm in the small blind once again with ace king. I pop it to $380. This is of course a very big 3-bet. Gotta love that double straddle and the action it brings. He's gonna make the call. To the flop we go. It is jack 9-5 with 2 clubs and 1 heart. I tank for a little while but do decide to check. He tanks as well and checks back. The turn is a 9. I now fake tank for a bit and check. He fake tanks for a bit as well and checks back. I can't flop or turn a pair today, but I'm hella good at rivering them. It's a king on the river. I bet out for a small size, just trying to get somehow called by worse, but unfortunately he doesn't have anything. He just lets it go. Given the action, I thought it was probably going to be a chop, so I'm kind of happy to drag this one in myself. A couple of minutes later, I'm in the big blind with king, queen suited. Lots and lots of Broadway hands today. The straddle is on, so the button opens to $60. I make it 235 to go. He's going to make the call, and we see a flop heads up of 6-3 deuce rainbow. What is with all these low flops today? I still decide to c-bet here, even though we've got just king high and the board sucks from my range. I bet $350. My opponent thinks for a second and makes the call. To the turn, it's a full rainbow 10. As the late great Doyle Brunson once said, when luck shuts the door, you gotta come in through the window. I bet $550, setting up for a river jam if need be, but after a long tank, the button then decides to let it go.
King queen. Nah, you're fucking good. You are good. That is a good raise.
Shout out to another local pro, Greedy Grant, for guessing my exact hand here. I kind of have to show it now when it's been called out like that. Alright, next up, under the gun has limped. The cutoff makes it $75 to go. The button is called as well, and I am in the big blind with king 10 offsuit. There's no straddle, and this is a big raise, but I want to play with these guys. So I make the call, as does the limper. We go 4 ways to queen jack 5 with 2 spades. An open-ended straight draw for me, preparing myself to call a bet if need be, but nobody bets. It somehow checks through. To the turn, it is an ace. Oh yes! I check with the devious intention of check raising. Somebody has to have hit that ace. The cutoff appears to have done just that. He bets $300. Really, really nice spot, and it gets a little better when the button comes along as well. Absolutely no slow playing here from me out of position. I pop it to $1,025. Very Tom Dwan type bet size here from me. We're all about 2,500 effective at this point, so this would set up for the river jam, but unfortunately everyone still in the hand is just gonna fold. A little disappointed, but at the same time it's such a lovely turn card for us, turning the nuts, so I for sure cannot complain. On to our last 2 hands of the night, both versus the same player. Super nice guy. I've played with him a few times over the course of the trip. First one, we get our ace king in pre-flop versus his queen 9 suited for $600 each.
Ready. You can't hit twice. Like the queen and the 9 are going surely. Oh no. 10. Damn it. Oh.
chopping that one up, but just 10 minutes later we're all in again pre-flop for $600 versus the same guy with a little more equity this time. I have pocket aces and he has got pocket kings. No help to him there. It's the classic Texas Hold'em cooler and I'm happy to be on the right side of it. The game was pretty good and still going strong at around 9 PM, but after 8 hours of grinding I decided enough was enough. I tapped the table, racked up my chips, headed off to the cashier, booking a $1,585 win in the process.
And that brings us to the end of another episode. I played for 8 hours. I won $1,585, I think. I had a really fun day today. Yeah, that's all for this one. Take it easy.